Hello and welcome back to SiGMA TV. Today I'm joined by Gary Kadlec, co-founder of Phrazzing Games, here to bring in this new exciting concept to the world of lotteries, in which we're about to get into in just a minute. So Gary, how are you?
I'm very good, and I kind of feel like I'm going through a back to the future because we're actually from your past and you're from our future, being 13 hours apart.
Definitely. Great way to put it into words. So Gary, could you tell us your background in the gaming industry and what do you guys do at the Phrazzing Games?
Well, actually, we are a startup. We've been in a startup phase for a number of years now, frankly, because as you know, it's a highly regulated and sometimes difficult industry to break into. And so while my background is from insurance sales and marketing, this is actually I guess I'm the father of this idea. It's been something in my head for a number of years. And about 5 years ago, we decided to really pursue it and started the process of exploring possibilities of obtaining a patent on the concept. And ultimately, we were successful in obtaining a couple of US patents covering this concept.
And you're about to launch this new concept in gaming, the player personalized alphanumeric instant win and slot game. So how do we play it? How do we win it?
Very simply, it is a very simple concept. What will be part of the game will be a modified QWERTY keyboard that'll have A through Z, 0 through 9, hashtag, ampersand, @ maybe a heart, and maybe a number of other things, including some emojis possibly. From that character set, the player will create a phrase. It can be something meaningful to them. For example, we're tentatively going to name the game hashtag Lucky7. The game itself is going to be a 7-character game. And so from that character set, they create a phrase that's personal meaning to them. Could be a family member's name, it could be a sports team, an athlete, whatever is meaningful in their lives, but they create a personalized phrase, and from that, the scratch card is created.
Amazing. So each player gets to personalize their own scratch cards or phrases that you would refer to. And I think that is what makes this game so attractive, as it creates this emotional link. And we all know that emotions influence gambling behavior. And so what are some of the unique features that you may want your audience to know more about?
I think what's really unique about it beyond that is the fact that it is our intent. The game is in development, just starting now. And the game itself is going to be based on Keno math. In other words, rather than a centrally determined outcome, the final outcome of the game as the player goes through it, and I'll describe that process briefly, but as they go through the process, they will actually be making the decisions that are the final outcome. The way the game is set up, or will be set up, is that there will be a playing field that will contain all of the characters within their phrase that they created. In addition to that, there'll be some other features. There may be wilds, there may be instant wins, there could be additional picks, free games, things like that. So there will be a game set, a game field of perhaps 50 characters. And then from that set, they are attempting to scratch the correct spots that will match the characters in the phrase that they created. At the end of the game, we intend to have a reveal all that will show exactly where those winning matching characters were, that they might have found some of them, received somewhat of a prize, a win, or they may not have scored any of those or found any of those in the process. But they will see that the entire phrase that they created was available to them, could have been found had they selected the correct spots during the course of the game.
And Gary, correct me if I'm wrong, Phrazzing Games offer only slots and lotteries. So why did you go this route? Why just put your center of attention to just these two verticals?
It's not where we ultimately intend to be. There are a number of verticals where it could be used, but the idea originated from the thought, there's got to be a better way to play the lottery. And so a number of years ago, I started toying with the idea, and from that came this game, because obviously instants are a very popular lottery type game. And so we have first tried to get into that, but it's, as I said, it's a very difficult nut to crack, if you will.
And who is your target market? To which demographic profile does this appeal to the most?
We conducted Google surveys, and in something over 2,900 responses, what we found is that the highest interest in this type of a word-based game, a phrase-based game, was among females, being slightly higher, and it clearly is highest in the youngest age categories, between 24 and 40, in that basic age band, is where the highest interest is. So it gave us the idea that this does appeal to younger players. It does appeal on an emotional level to female players even more than male players. And that gave us more encouragement that we're onto something that could possibly do really well. So we initially thought about and created it for the lottery industry, but by the same token, within the math will be the ability to adjust the various features within the game. And as a result of that, we'll be able to achieve pretty much any hit frequency, volatility, and return to player that can range from, just looking at return to player, from the mid 60s to the upper 90s. And we'd be able to create that return to player to fit different operators' objectives when it comes to those key factors.
That is very interesting. I'm definitely for it as well. I genuinely find your game very appealing, and I hope I don't get into the black hole, but can people play this game with real money online?
Obviously, that's one of our objectives, is that we are going to be going initially after our game plan, our strategy is to integrate with platforms, and it will initially, in all likelihood, be a real money game. Obviously, there'll be an introductory game that will be available as that. We'll have a demo game available before that we'll release prior to the actual real money game becoming available. But following that, with some modifications, we will plan to try to introduce the game, or intend to introduce the game, into some opportunities for monetized casual gaming as well.
And are you looking to expanding this game to the land-based sector?
Right. Absolutely. Right. Now, that may be something, perhaps in one of the multi machines, that could be not a freestanding, not a standalone piece of equipment, piece of hardware, but it certainly could be done on casino, and we know on property. Casinos have online games available. Most casinos do have an online casino along with their land-based. So it certainly is our intent that to make it available in both of those situations.
Great. And Gary, I wanted to pick your brain on how do online lotteries look into the whole picture of iGaming, since there's so many competitive products out there like bingo, live casino, and etc. Right.
That's one of the advantages we have. I mean, this is truly a new category. There has not been a game, at least in the United States. We were able to secure patents on both the instant win game and on the slot machine, on the slot version of it. So there simply is nothing like this. There are many, many interesting games with all kinds of new features in all those that you mentioned, but there just simply has never been a game that that empowered players to create a phrase that's emotionally interesting to them, meaningful in their lives, whether, like I said, it could be a family member's name, it could be their favorite pet's name, but it also could be absolute gibberish. It could be all a series of numbers. Whatever somebody wants to play could be used in that. So there is no game, there's really nothing like this. So rather than a different spin on a slot game, and we know there are thousands, if not tens of thousands of slot titles out there, this is a different approach. We have to, through marketing, through various efforts, whatever we can do to create the awareness. One of the really interesting things we believe is the fact that perhaps for the first time, this is a game that fits into our social media world. We see the possibility of people posting on Instagram, on Facebook, wherever it is. Hey, I just won $100 playing I Love My Dog on phrases at whatever casino they happen to be on at that time. So we see an opportunity to use social media, or that social media will become an ally of ours, of the operators that ultimately will have our game facing the public. And that through social media, as people start talking about this interesting game, if they find it fun, they're bound to talk about that. And it could be a very interesting tool for operators because everybody won't have it at the same time. There'll be limited release once we get it out there. So we see an opportunity to use the social media world that we live in as an advantage for us in introducing a completely new gaming concept. So we're looking for attention. We're looking for opportunities like this to talk with you and your audience, because it's something that has not been seen before, not been talked about before, and we plan to have a lot of fun with it.
All right. And are there any future plans that you may want to disclose with us today?
There are other things that we see as being opportunities to do with the concept. We're kind of out of the box thinkers. There are only two of us in the merry band, and we've got more ideas than we have time to do them. We know that we have to get a toehold in a challenging market to get into, in a highly regulated market, and we see our best opportunity to first put out this very easy to understand concept without too many bells, too many whistles, too many features, so people really understand the concept, and from there expand the concept into other games and perhaps games that we've thought of that are completely unrelated to this concept. But we need to establish ourselves as somebody with an idea. I'll also add that we are not actually game developers. We're not. So we are working with a very talented game developer to create the actual game. And hopefully we'll have it sometime around the end of the first quarter of 2021.
All right, excellent. Well, Gary, thank you so much for joining me here today. I wish you all the best and much success. And I really enjoyed talking to you today. I really appreciate your time.
Well, thank you, Yanni. It's really nice to be with you. Hopefully it's a nice morning in Manila, but we really do appreciate the opportunity to tell our story a little bit. It helps us to start to get the word out there that there's something really neat, unique, and really exciting coming, and we look forward to talking with you again.
And that is all for myself and Gary. We'd love to hear how you found this interview, so share your thoughts in the comments below.